Thanks so much for coming. So, welcome everyone to the 2022 State of the Town, and I do appreciate you coming out. Leave it to Mary. Leave it to. Is this not on?
It's on. It is on. It's just extremely quiet.
I thought this was so sensitive. Our technical expert here.
Thank you. Yes, it is in fact on. The speakers are really quiet in here because of the channel 18. It was tuned by the people who built the system.
Okay. Blame somebody else. Well, I'll try to speak so that you can hear me. Again, thank you for joining us, and this is going to be broadcast on YouTube and also live streamed on our wonderful public access channel 18. I would like to begin by asking, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and if Sabrina Lacey would come forward. Sabrina is the commander of the VFW Lieutenant Dolney Memorial Post 6431 in Brentwood, and she's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order arms.
Thank you, Sabrina. And Sabrina also serves on our Veterans Advisory Board as a volunteer. At this time, I would like to invite Gerald Quigley, who is part of our team in the Parks Department, Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. Did a great job with the basketball shootout tournament. The kids loved it. He did a great job. And he is going to sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land and of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Gerald. I just hope American Idol doesn't scoop him up because he really does.
I auditioned.
You have, because he's really done a great job in this. And back to work. Thanks. Thank you so much. I told you, our guys are dedicated. They really, really are. No doubt about it. Okay, so here we are. It's been, and I dropped the pen. Excuse me, I'll be back. So that's quite a reach when you're on a step, bending down. So it's been a year now since I stood before you virtually and talked about the immense challenges this town had faced in what was truly a most difficult year, and how, with your help, we rose to meet those challenges together. We talked about difficulties that affected us all, no matter who we were, where we lived, whether it was Bayshore, Brentwood, Bayport, or anywhere in between, whether young or old, student, senior, business owner, employee, parent, or grandparent. We talked about quarantine, lockdown, and recovery, community, teamwork, and partnerships. We talked about the triumphs we achieved together despite challenges and despite difficulties. Because it was together that we forged ahead, with will when we were tired, with hope when we were dark, with confidence when hope wavered, and with each other when our individual confidence just wasn't enough. And we did these things not because COVID didn't make it difficult. We did this because this is precisely what our commitment to our residents and to each other demanded. Action despite adversity, duty despite difficulties. We talked about promises. First, our promise to sound fiscal responsibility, pandemic or not, to tighten budgets and make sure that every taxpayer dollar spent was done with the utmost scrutiny. Well, we've met that promise. Our 2022 operating budget delivers a modest town tax decrease to the average assessed home, does not cut any services, staff, or programs. It remains tax cap compliant. We are not piercing the tax cap. On the promise to seek out new opportunities to help assist those undergoing financial hardship as a result of the pandemic, we've achieved that as well. This past summer, our Town of Islip Community Development Agency initiated the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. We dispersed over $1.6 million to households in jeopardy of eviction, residents who were just trying to get by under circumstances unfairly pressed upon them. With ARPA funding, we recently launched the Town of Islip ARPA Business Grant Program, KIT, I have to have an acronym, Keep Islip Thriving, allocating assistance for small businesses and local nonprofits who experienced hardships due to lost revenue because of the pandemic. These grants are now available to help them move forward. We talked about promises and we talked about new initiatives. And we renewed our commitment to focus on our environment and infrastructure and our local economy, senior citizens and our youth. And that's exactly what we did. Regarding our environment, we've continued to invest in green energy, including the installation of solar farms on our closed landfills in Holbrook and Hauppauge. In 2020, the town became NYSERDA Clean Energy Certified and achieved Climate Smart Community designation through the New York State DEC. The town DEC is working diligently on our sustainability issues to identify high impact action items to raise our Climate Smart Community ranking to Bronze Certified. With regards to infrastructure, we opened the much anticipated Roberto Clemente Spray Park in Brentwood, unveiled the new centrally located animal shelter and adopt a pet center in central Islip, and completed more than $500,000 in park improvements across our hamlets, including playground equipment accessible for all abilities. And I'm proud to announce that through the not-for-profit Town of Islip Parks Foundation, preliminary work has begun on its first-of-a-kind sensory garden at Brookwood Hall, which will cater to people with visual and hearing impairments, Alzheimer's or dementia, those who are developmentally disabled or on the autism spectrum, and for our seniors as well as veterans, allowing all to enjoy nature in an environment crafted for their individual needs. Regarding the local economy, our Division of Economic Development induced projects representing $212 million in capital investments, enabling the retention of over 1,100 jobs and the creation of nearly 400 new jobs. For our seniors, our Division of Senior Citizen Affairs continue to safely provide basic household services to our seniors, including in-home meal delivery, sometimes providing the only social interaction for many of our seniors. And for the youth of our town, our Youth Bureau served approximately 7,000 through their innovative programs during a time of ever-increasing challenges for our children. Through the incredible work of this town, its residents, our town board members, and our dedicated commissioners, department heads, and their teams, we pulled together, and you know how many feet apart, despite the challenges of a most difficult year, and worked to restore not necessarily normalcy, but a much-needed optimism for the future of our town and for the people for whom all of this is all about. An informed optimism for a smarter path forward. And we did these things not alone, but together, not as isolated groups, but collectively as a community, not as an assortment of districts, hamlets, or villages, but as one town, one Islip. Recently, I was given the opportunity to participate with a gathering of mayors and leaders from around the world in the Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative. Among the many lessons and takeaways from that conference, one overall lesson stands out. At every level of governance, from Hawaii to Nashville, from Columbia to Canada, we all face the same challenges. We all share the same concerns. On the national level, right down to the state, county, city, town, and district, right down to the individual, we are unified in our hopes, our concerns, but most importantly, in our determination and will to forge ahead for a better tomorrow for each other, our children, and their children, a determination to build a better tomorrow. Truly, however different we may appear to be, whatever arbitrary differences might exist, we are all united in this effort. To that end, we have reformed the town's anti-bias task force to become the Town of Islip Unity Council, dedicated and committed to inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility, or another acronym idea. We have members of the Unity Council here today. I'd ask you to please stand. Mary. Mary. Hassan, did I see Hassan? Yes, thank you. So to that end, the Unity Council, comprised of those that reflect the incredible diversity of our town, has hit the ground running and will be bringing meaningful programs forward, including the town's Student Ambassador Program, so stay tuned. The word unity is key. In 2021, the town resolved a lawsuit that resulted in the creation of 4 separate councilmanic districts. 4 districts, but still one Islip. While this signifies a change in how town board members are elected, my role as a supervisor remains the same. I always have and always will continue to represent all of our residents in the town of Islip. Our town board members, who are now elected by the residents in a specific councilmanic district, will always work with the best interests of the town in mind as a whole. I firmly believe that, and I am confident that each of our town board members shares that belief. We are one town, unified, and this administration is steadfast in its commitment to represent the interests of all residents in each and every one of our hamlets. It's our partnerships and relationships with our residents, our community groups and stakeholders that we treasure, and sets us apart as one of the best towns in the entire state. For the first time in the town of Islip's 339-year history, we are working differently, but collectively, always collectively, and always for the greater good of each and every person who calls Islip their home. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my partners on the Islip Town Board, who together work very hard to serve all our residents. John Cochran, Mary Kate Mullen, Jim O'Connor, and our newest member, Jorge Guadron, as well as our town clerk, Olga Murray, and our new receiver of taxes, Andy Whitman, all working diligently on behalf of all of you. I am truly fortunate to work alongside such dedicated partners who take the interests of our entire community to heart, and they carry that awareness into the programs and initiatives that they help foster. Let's start with John. He's our senior member. Councilman John Cochran, a retired U.S. Navy captain who has headed up Veterans Initiative in his office for many years, and now he's taken it to the next level. He has taken over stewardship of our hometown servicemen and women. Last year, we instituted the Islip Town Veterans Advisory Board, a community-wide initiative to help our town's veterans here at home. Board members on the VAB include representatives from veterans organizations across our town. Together, alongside Councilman Cochran, these dedicated advocates and leaders serve to keep our veteran communities well informed on current issues and legislation. They also provide support to local veterans posts, assistance with the Northport VA Medical Center, and we are heavily lobbying the federal government to not cut funding to the VA. And our town board is totally unified in that effort. And they also provided COVID-related guidance and vaccination appointments to the heroes of Iceland. This year, Councilman Cochran is continuing his mission to commemorate these heroes with the 2022 edition of the Islip Journal of War Veterans, featuring veterans who have served in the U.S. military between the periods of the First Gulf War through to the present War on Terror. On behalf of all of us in the town, allow me to take this opportunity to thank each and every member of our nation's military for their service and sacrifices, especially today, as we all focus and pray for those struggling in the Ukraine. We are and always will remain truly grateful. And thank you, John. Of course, wars are fought on many fronts. As the world continues to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, let us not forget the other war right here at home, the war on drugs and the drug epidemic. Recent data estimates drug overdose deaths have tragically risen above 100,000 annually, an increase of 28.5% over the previous year. These numbers are appalling, alarming, and should serve as a reminder that we as a community must do better in raising awareness of substance abuse and encouraging and supporting those in recovery. And I'm happy to report our Suffolk DA, Ray Tierney, has made that one of the hallmarks of initiatives moving forward in his tenure as the DA. On the front of this epidemic, Councilwoman Mary Kate Mullen is dedicated in her role as Town Board Liaison to the Drug Abuse Awareness Task Force. Her past experience as a Senior Assistant District Attorney in the Suffolk DA's Narcotics Bureau is helping us drive education and awareness of substance abuse disorders to our town and schools. This issue has taken on even greater significance as substance abuse levels continue to rise. Many will remember our month-long Islip Goes Purple initiative last September during National Recovery Month. This initiative started in Maryland and is designed to unite all under the banner of recovery and awareness. We started it in Islip 2 years ago and have helped encouraging other towns to adopt it. I echo the Councilwoman's and indeed all of our sentiments when I ask you to please keep this issue and the call to recovery in the forefront, not just in September, but year-round. For more information, including resources and materials regarding abuse disorders, you can contact Councilwoman Mullen or visit islipgoespurple.com. This is a fight that does not quit, and neither will we. Thank you so much, Mary Kate. Undoubtedly, the pandemic has brought many added challenges to the community, not just tied to public health. Impacts have been felt far and wide, including to those with disabilities. Yet through it all, despite the added hurdles, our Disability Advisory Board, under Councilman O'Connor's leadership, has remained focused on improving the quality of life for Town of Islip's disability community. Councilman Jim O'Connor, who chairs our Disability Advisory Board, has continued in his dedication to the mission to address accessibility, seek equity, remove barriers, and promote opportunities for individuals with physical and sensory disabilities. He has assisted in producing a disability employment awareness and opportunity video series that consists of in-depth conversations covering educational, employment, and social equity opportunities. These have run on our public access channel 18 network and are available to all on demand via the town's YouTube channel. We encourage you to have a look. Thank you, Councilman O'Connor, for your steadfast advocacy. You know, the entire town board works diligently to enrich the lives of all who Islip their home. And I'd like to once again extend a very warm welcome to Councilman Jorge Guadron. Councilman Guadron's story is truly a story of the American dream. Born in El Salvador, the councilman came to the United States as a teenager in 1980 with his mother and siblings fleeing political violence. He has worked hard over the years to establish himself as a successful businessman, one who cares deeply about the civic life of the community and remains committed to improve the quality of life for Islip residents. Councilman Guadron was elected in November of 21, representing District 1 and the communities of North Bayshore, Brentwood, and Central Islip. We certainly embrace this new chapter for our town. The entire town board and I will continue to work as we always have together with understanding and unity in our purpose to build the best town for all who call Islip their home and from whom we are entrusted with the honor of representing and serving. Thank you, Councilman. So of course, the push for progress doesn't stop with the town board members. I'd like to give a very special thank you to our hardworking commissioners and department heads. They remain on the job 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, as many early morning and late night texts will attest. Please allow me to recognize them. Arthur Abadi, Director of Personnel in the Safety Office. Marty Ballou, our DEC Commissioner. J.R. DeCiccio, our Town Attorney. Ann Danziger, our Islip Town Assessor. Brad Hemingway, Foreign Trade Zone. Steve Cozen, our IT Director. Tracy Crew, Chief of Staff. Shelley Rose Arkin, Airport Commissioner. Joe Ludwig, our Controller. Tim Mayer, Youth Bureau Director. Olga Murray, Town Clerk. Tom Owens, DPW and Parks Commissioner. Tony Prudenti, Commissioner of Public Safety. Michael Rand, Purchasing Director. Caroline Smith, Director of Public Information. John Walzer, Economic Development. Andy Whitman, our Receiver of Taxes. And to Michelle Basson, Jim Brennan, and of course Mia Knapp for holding down the fort in the Planning Division. Each of these dedicated commissioners and directors and their deputies and their teams work so hard to keep the town of Islip running at its best for all our residents. It's truly my honor to come to work alongside them every day. And working in tandem with their teams, these commissioners and department heads have risen to meet the ever-increasing challenges in our pandemic evolving world. Challenges like the ongoing challenge to maintain and continue to conduct business and essential services under circumstances that limited coming together. Many continue the initiative to implement new convenient online methods and further modernize methods and services for the digital age. Common sense upgrades that, pandemic or no, enhance our residents' ability to interact with local government today and moving into the future. At the Assessor's Office, we modernized systems to stabilize data management and retrieval, allowing petitioners to the grievance complaints electronically. In the Town Clerk's Office, who alongside our IT department initiated online form and application processing. You can now apply for dog licenses, block party permits, and other things like marriage records electronically. The Tax Receiver's Office established a drop box for payments and improved an online payment system to reduce the need for residents to gather in person. Their revamped online payment site is easier to use, mobile friendly, and offers lower convenience fees. Of course, we owe much of our progress on this digital front to our Department of Information Technology, whose efforts have enabled us to adapt to the unseen challenges without slowing productivity. Their support has been instrumental in helping us keep the conversation flowing from our offices to your homes. And they've continued to keep us all connected, upgrading Wi-Fi across town locations. And this is a big town. In case you haven't heard, the third largest in the state of New York, as a matter of fact, with a total area of 106 square miles and a population of 340,000 with 1,300 miles of roadways. That's a lot to maintain. Just ask our Department of Public Works. Their Traffic Safety Division has implemented a number of traffic and safety improvements, including the School Zone Radar Sign Initiative, the LED backlit pedestrian sign safety action plan, bike lane designs, and traffic signal and pedestrian improvements in many of our hamlets. Under the supervision of DPW and Parks Commissioner Tom Owens, our iconic town hall cupola, which had unfortunately fallen into terrible disrepair, underwent a complete restoration and is now a symbol of great pride in our town. We've gotten so many phone calls about the cupola with it being lit. People drive by at night especially and really do appreciate it. The town hall roof has finally been replaced, permanently resolving damaging leaks throughout the building. That's been going on for years. We continue working towards the construction of the first ever skateboard park in the town to be built at Roberto Clemente in Brentwood. Together with community input and our talented design consultants, who it's worth noting is the very one who designed the legendary skateboarder Tony Hawk's backyard skate park. Our goal, pending securing the final funding, is to complete this skate park as soon as we can. And thank you to the assistance of Assemblyman Phil Ramos. He secured a $250,000 New York State grant funding to help make this a reality. Thank you, Assemblyman Ramos. That's been really very helpful. So DPW had a busy year. I'm sure, Troy, as we haven't forgotten the fair share of storms that we've had here to contend with, including a late January snowstorm that left over a record-setting 2 feet of snow. It was so encouraging to hear on News 12 in the morning that Islip, broke records. Our DPW crews, assisted by Parks, Public Safety, and DEC, were out in full force, clearing our 1,300 miles of roadway. And it really was a partnership. The departments really came together, and I really appreciate it. And I know we all do. I speak for the town board when I say that. There's a renewed commitment, thank you, town board, to continue our paving program, along with addressing the ever-increasing drainage issues we are facing townwide. And of course, there were the perennial potholes to deal with, and to date, we've filled over 30,000. Indeed, it's been business as usual for many of our departments, not because COVID didn't present an obstacle, but because our commitment to progress demanded it. Our Department of Environmental Control has continued pet adoptions at our town-owned animal shelter. Since the onset of the pandemic, 718 animals have found their forever home through our shelter. And in late fall, we celebrated the opening of our new state-of-the-art animal shelter and adopt-a-pet center. During the pandemic, we built an animal shelter. Thank you, Marty. And while navigating the difficulties of one crisis, they made sure not to lose sight of another, still managing to pick up garbage despite an increase in collections with so many residents working from home. In 2020, there was a 30% increase in garbage collection. And as people started going back to work, it went down, but it's still 10% over what it had been in the past, where it normally has been. Following through with our unwavering commitment to environmental preservation and renewable energy, DEC continues to expand the town's aquaculture beyond just shellfish to include sugar kelp, as well as leasing all available parcels. We are now at an astounding 37 million blue point oysters and hard clams, each oyster cleaning up to 50 gallons of bay water a day, and each clam cleaning 30 gallons of water. The shellfish cultivation facility is in a position to become the premier supplier of quality seed for the growing demands, not just on Long Island, but around the Northeast. Our Department of Planning has also forged on, orchestrating several projects and studies, including the Bayport Hamlet study, extensive sidewalk improvements, especially in Brentwood, in addition to working with internal departments and agency to design and implement building upgrades at Town Hall, which were long overdue and were finally being addressed. And when restrictions changed, our dedicated planning department continued to update the tent and outdoor dining permitting process, often turning permits around in a day, no permit fees, so that restaurants throughout Islip could meet state guidelines, a lifeline for many. Those outdoor dining permits have once again been extended through January of 23. Likewise, our Economic Development Department, along with our Industrial Development Agency and Economic Development Corporation, is busy. In the year ahead, they plan to induce 15 new projects and close 10 new ones, as well as meet many new companies to develop expansions that will help reignite our economic engine. They'll also be working with our small businesses to process the kit, Keep Islip Thriving Small Business Brands. And I urge everyone, go to the website, all the business owners and not-for-profits that are out there, and please fill out the applications. Crucial to our towns and indeed all Long Island's economy, our very own Long Island MacArthur Airport faced down a year of challenges. Thanks to Commissioner Shelley LaRose Arkin and Deputy Commissioner Rob Schneider and their entire team, the airport immediately addressed health and safety concerns. Remember, our airport was the first in the world to install CASPR, the Continuous Air Service Pathogen Reduction System, units throughout the terminals. The first airport in the country to install Silver Defender antimicrobial films on all high-touch surfaces, and was one of the first airports to put in a PPE vending machine. And despite the limitations on the air industry imposed by the pandemic, a lot of new and exciting air service has commenced at MacArthur. Southwest Airlines began flying nonstop to Nashville, Tennessee last June. Frontier relaunched its service to Fort Lauderdale. And last but certainly not least, the founder of JetBlue, no, JetBlue is not coming to Islip, but the founder of JetBlue launched service from Islip with his fifth airline, Breeze Airways. They are flying nonstop to Charleston, South Carolina, and Norfolk, Virginia. In addition, Breeze will be offering one-stop service to New Orleans with more to come. And it's my pleasure to announce today that at the end of the month, Frontier Airlines will once again resume direct service to Raleigh-Durham. So things are happening there. So make your vacation plans, spread the word to your family, friends, and neighbors. If you want more destinations, we need to fill those seats. That's so key. It really, really is. And I want to shout out to the HIA. When we were trying to demonstrate that there is a market here to the air service carriers, the HIA commenced a survey to their members, and we got a tremendous response. And that data was very, very helpful, because the airlines, they want to see data now. They want to know that they can be profitable. So that initiative on behalf of the HIA was very helpful. To the credit of all involved at our wonderful airport, and the Airport Advisory Board is very well represented here today. I see Mitch Pally, who chairs it, and Donna Moravik is on it, and I think Victoria Ryan is also a member, and maybe some other members of that board. But to the credit of all involved, MacArthur Airport has twice been selected as one of the country's top small airports, ranking 6th in 2020 and moving to 4th in 2021 in USA Today's 10 Best Reader's Choice Small Airports. So the challenge is out there. When that survey comes out this year, I'm expecting all of you to check off Islip. Indeed, COVID put a strain on many facets of life. In many cases, sadly, some of our needs individually and as a community were not met. Despite this, we went to work to create new programs where needed and promote existing ones. Programs like those started by our Youth Bureau, who ran clothing and supply drives for underserved community members. The Emergency Child Care Program from essential workers run by YES, Youth Enrichment Services, and we're joined today by their Executive Director, Mary Ann Pfeiffer. They helped our local heroes and essential workers when they were helping us. Our staff here at the town pulled through the Salvation Army again, and in 2 years adopted 120 angels, helping serve and provide toys and other things for those families. Our Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs modified many of its programs, Along with the support of the town board, the initiative for a professional assessment of all of our marinas and docks, many aging and in need of repair, was finally completed. It gave us a roadmap to what marinas needed help first. In 2021, the town board unanimously approved the Atlantique Marina contract to Strong's Rover, bringing nearly 150 years of combined marina operation experience to Atlantique. The 2021 season was a huge success, and in 22, the operator plans to continue improvements to the bulkheading and the ferry dock, further enhancing the experience for all visitors to Atlantique. Our widely popular Get Fit with Nick exercise video series kept seniors moving when the senior centers were closed to the public. And I have to thank Nick. You know, when the centers closed, and the seniors love exercising with Nick. He's kind of handsome. The ladies love him. I asked him if he would consider doing a video. So we did. And fortunately, Nick has since returned to in-person fitness classes at most of our centers townwide. But many residents have reported that they enjoy their Get Fit with Nick video so much that they bring it with them when they're out of town. The Senior Center meal program served homebound seniors throughout the pandemic, and thanks to funding through our Islip Community Development Agency, we were able to purchase a new refrigerated van to aid the meal delivery efforts. We recently launched grab-and-go meals at the Joyce Fitzpatrick Senior Center and will be expanding to other locations. Thank you, Carol. New electronic and very popular bingo boards have finally been installed at 3 of our centers, with more coming to Central Islip and Ronkonkoma. Art instruction has resumed for our seniors, and we look forward to once again dancing and dining with our friends at the annual Senior Fall Ball. When the pandemic kept us away from each other, Parks reimagined and expanded our free summer movie nights. In partnership with Catholic Health's Good Samaritan Hospital, we brought back the drive-in movie experience, giving a moment of respite to our town's children and families. This will be continuing again this summer. It is so popular. And during the holiday season, our dedicated and talented crews lined the grounds of Brookwood Hall with a dazzling display of lights enjoyed from the safety and warmth of the vehicles. And we're hoping that this holiday season will actually be having a Christmas village like they have in Europe. So they're busy. They're very busy. Of course, protecting the safety of our residents is always a top priority. And here in the town of Islip, we are fortunate to have a public safety division that receives and dispatches constituent complaints 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, with our park rangers. Good to see you here today. Fire marshals, harbor patrol, town code investigators, building inspectors, DPW personnel, animal control officers, and an emergency hazmat unit. This division also closely monitors closed circuit security cameras and townwide alarm systems, and shares information and works with other public safety agencies to keep our residents safe year-round. And that kind of monitoring was very helpful in delivering a positive resolution to finding out about the murders that took place with the gangs. So we work very closely with the other public safety agencies. We're mindful of the quality of life of all of our 340,000 residents in our town and the importance of maintaining their home values. And that is why we are steadfast in ridding our hamlets of blighted properties, which bring home values down, attract illegal drug activity, and other errant behavior. And the town attorney's office has really been steadfast in their commitment to this program. We received a grant from the state, and every month consistently the town board unanimously supports all of these cleanup and board up, and in some instances demo resolutions to rid our town of some of these tragic eyesores. Our public safety division is fortunate to have the skills and resources to conduct its own in-house peace officer training academy. And I think we're probably the only town on the island that does so. To date, the town of Islip has successfully graduated a total of 37 peace officers. And just recently, we had a class that graduated 4 park ranger recruits from Islip Town, and one recruit from Smithtown. Other towns have reached out to us and we've been able to assist them. All of our departments, every division has been hard at work despite the limitations of the lingering pandemic, seeing each challenge as an opportunity, seeing each trial as a chance to triumph. And 2021 was a year of many trials, but I hope you will see that in many ways, it was also a year when we did triumph. When life changed, so did we. When you were forced to adapt, we adapted alongside of you. And in step together, one Islip, we persevered. Of course, while the vigilance and dedication of our departments and their staff have helped forge a path forward over new terrain, there is still much work to be done. The changes that put upon our lives have left profound impacts. There is no denying that more change is coming, and with change, it brings new challenges. At the town level, our administration remains committed to ensuring that each and every taxpayer dollar spent is done with strong fiscal responsibility and transparency. Our enviable AAA bond rating that we were able to secure in early 16 and has been reaffirmed 6 times goes a long way in helping us do just that. Because the march on progress must go on, we are determined to come back stronger and with smarter initiatives and projects. Take, for example, the Belmont at Eastview in central Islip. It's an 80-plus acre parcel that's been tax exempt for many years. Formerly the Central Islip Psychiatric Center and then the New York Institute of Technology on Carlton Avenue, the town approved a 354-unit apartment complex that will include a community center and many, many amenities on an 87-acre tract. And it's just a stone's throw from the Long Island Ducks ballpark and the brand new soccer facility. These Gothic historic structures, one being dubbed the Harry Potter building, are being refurbished, keeping the project green, eliminating emissions and the unnecessary truck traffic that normally comes with major demolition. We're talking about 13 buildings, each and every building going to be reused. The town of Islip continues to attract new businesses while working with existing companies and organizations to foster growth and thriving development. The 10-acre site, formerly Touro College in Bayshore, is being transformed into a true transit-oriented development and will offer a vibrant, walkable community where our young workforce and empty nesters will want to live. The development also means added construction jobs and longer-term permanent jobs that will ultimately, this 300,000 square foot modernization project This project, I don't have the exact size of it, but it's on 10 acres, also means it will be adding construction jobs and long-term permanent jobs. So these pages are out of order if you haven't figured that out yet, so I'm going to wing it. And when we're talking about projects, one of them being the modernization project at Good Samaritan Hospital. That's 325,000 square feet, I believe, from memory. And it will bring updated surgical facilities and single patient rooms when it is completed. Justin Jason from Good Sam is here, so if I'm wrong on any of those details, he'll fill you in after. Likewise, South Shore University Hospital, Donna Moravec, their CEO, is here, was approved for a 215,000 square foot expansion, along with 1,000 stall parking structure, with investments totaling over $500 million, modernizing healthcare service at the facility. You know, these kinds of projects show that we are a vibrant town, that there is room for growth. And, you know, we've gotten a lot of support from the private community, and I see Mitch Pally here from Libby, Long Island Builders Institute. Mitch has been very instrumental serving on our airport advisory board, along with our business advisory board. John Corrado is here too, who serves on that board. But this kind of development engenders interest in other development. And recently, there has been interest in a development project at our airport that potentially could generate a $2.4 billion investment in a mixed-use private development that could enhance our island's intellectual corridor of research, engineering, education, and technology. Midway Crossing is what it is dubbed right now, and it would be a joint initiative with the county, private developers, and the town and the airport. Through all of these projects, we continue to encourage close partnerships among developers, the community, and town officials in order to learn from each other, build support, and foster engagement for the betterment of our communities. And these partnerships certainly extend to other levels of government. And I'm delighted to see represented from the state, our Senator Phil Boyle. So often we reach out to other levels of government, whether it be the state or to our federal partners in Congress, Congressman Andrew Garbarino, who just called and was not able to join us. But you need to get along with everyone. You need to work together with everyone. And they have really been exemplary partners. We really do value these partnerships, and we work with an incredible team at the town of Islip. This is true because our incredible residents have accepted the challenge to step up and be part of that team. You've partnered with us in so many ways to make the town better. So many volunteers who serve our residents each and every day on our boards, our planning board, appeals board, assessment review, ITEC, plumbing, different commissioners, local fire departments, so many volunteers who serve us so very, very well. Ambulance companies, chambers of commerce, cultural and civic groups, veterans organizations, beautification and historical societies, neighborhood watch groups, PTA, sports league, the Parks Foundation. The list goes on, and I really, really wish I could name each and every one of you, but you know how much we all thank you for your service and really enjoy working alongside of you. And it's these partnerships with our residents, with grassroots organizations, and our communities, and our school that unites us. And together, united, we improve. Our Community Development Agency recently announced the reopening of the Emergency Rental Assistance Program with $9.98 million available to our residents to help pay overdue rent and utility costs. Applications are being accepted until all funds have been exhausted. Residents and landlords can apply at islipcda.org. Assistance was also made available to homeowners through the CDA's Emergency Mortgage Assistance Program. It was recently relaunched and will be accepting applications until June 1st, with $2 million to distribute to across the town to approved mortgage holders. They can apply by going to that islipcda.org. And we want to thank our partners at the CDA, Jay Bowers, Julie McGibbon, their team, and the dedicated volunteers, the CDA board. I see Debbie Pfeiffer here, Debbie Kavanaugh, who is here. They have really volunteered unbelievably, as all of the groups have. This pandemic has taken much, but we continue to look for ways to explore new partnerships and identify new opportunities to prevent it from taking any more. There is no doubt that we are much better off today than we were this time last year. However, slower than you and I would have hoped. There have been setbacks, new variants, new challenges. The path forward has been frustrating at times, to say the least, but we must continue to be steadfast and remain vigilant in order to see one another through. Together as one, acting on our mutual goals for the betterment of this town, we can define what tomorrow will look like. You know, you've heard a lot about the new normal. There is no new normal. Normal is a baseline, a status quo, but we will not accept the limitations and hardships that has been thrust upon us as just normal. Rather, we'll work within these limitations, wiser, smarter, stronger than before, to help create a better future for this town. Together, we've embraced change, and together faced those new challenges that change always brings. But with change comes opportunity, and together we possess the wisdom and strength to make the most of each one. The wealth of diverse and strong-willed peoples of this community has unified this town when external forces were poised to drive us apart. I'd like to share a quote from a poet, a peacemaker, and philosopher, Matty Stefanak, who wrote, "Unity is strength. When there is teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved. Matty was just a youth when he wrote that. So let's take those words to heart. When there's teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved. Unity is strength. Today, I ask all of you to join with us as we recommit our promise, one unified Islip, to focus on all of our shared interests, on all of our residents, especially our youth, for they are our future. And sometimes, like Maddie, the holders of the wisdom that keeps us going. Since March 1st of 2015, I have been truly honored to be supervisor of our great town. And once again, I thank you for trusting in me as we've worked over these past challenging years to achieve wonderful things. With the teamwork of my fellow town board members, the hard work of our caring commissioners and their teams, and with the collaboration and support of our town residents, we will continue to make great strides forward for our great, unified, and strong town of Islip. Please all be safe. May God continue to bless our town, our great country, and bring peace to our life. Thank you so much.